Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Career Boost podcast. Today, I have the privilege of speaking with someone who's not only had an incredible career, but has also been a personal mentor and a role model to me, Professor Nuno Bettencourt. Professor Nuno Bettencourt is a consultant cardiologist and leading expert in cardiovascular imaging, working across cardiac CT and cardiac MRI. He was one of the pioneers of these techniques in Portugal. He's also an assistant professor at the Faculty of Medicine of the University of Porto, a dedicated researcher and a fellow of multiple international cardiology societies. Nuno, thank you for taking the time to be here in the Career Boost podcast.
Thank you to invite me, Ricardo.
Your career path is truly impressive. If you were to look back and highlight a few defining experiences, the ones that really shaped who you are today, which would you stand out?
I really don't know what to start with, but I think life is a constant learning, right? So I am a cardiologist from Porto. I have been living here all my life, I should say. So I didn't travel a lot except for learning. And I think that what made me today was I am always keen to learn more. I'm really focused in learning. I love learning, and especially things I really don't know. So I ended up studying lots of different things besides cardiology. For instance, I studied I did post graduations in different stuff like molecular medicine, sports medicine, forensic medicine, and more recently, health management. In a way, all these different aspects related to medicine ended up helping to build who I am now. So I should say all these different areas were important to me, but of course, my life is mainly dedicated to cardiovascular imaging. So the fellowships I did abroad, learning CT and CMR were really important, of course.
Most of us are shaped by the people we meet along the way. Was there someone in particular who had a big influence on your journey?
I think there is. I don't have a single role model, but I think there is a person that shaped, at least helped me deciding while I was in medical school where I should go and what to choose at the end of a medical school. And that was Professor Julia Maciel. She taught me cardiology and inspired me the choice of the specialization I made. And I still work with her nowadays in Jornadas de Atualização Cardiovascular. And it's a privilege to have a mentor like she is. And it was also a privilege to have other mentors like Dr. Vasco Gama, you know well, the head of the department I was formed in cardiology in Hospital Gaia. I think he was already here, right? And other people like Lino Simões and Professor Carlos Ramalhão that taught me a little bit of clinical excellence and how to improve our relations with the patients. And I feel that's really important. So I have probably more than one people I should cite, but those were the ones I remember the most.
And no
And
career.
I should add another thing. I also learned a lot from the people I work with and with the people even the younger fellows. For instance, I learned a lot with you, Ricardo, while I was your mentor. And that's true. I really learned, even with the radiographers nowadays I work with side by side. I'm still learning. And it's very important to learn from other people that can give you different knowledge than what you have. If you only try to learn with your professors or for people that are used to teach, maybe you don't really learn practical stuff and practical tips, and probably they are just there around, and you just have to look where to find.
Absolutely. And no career is without its tough moments. Were there any periods that really tested you professionally or personally, and how did you get through them?
Well, in the career, there was one moment I really felt it was difficult. It was not when I decided to leave the national health system, but well before that. It was when I decided not to follow the line the government draw for me, because I had in Portugal there was a period when we had a career that was for life. And I could have that at the time if I followed the line, leaving after the cardiology training, leaving the Gaia hospital and going to the interior. And nowadays I've been working in probably a totally different area, but in the public hospital, and having a totally different contract. And that was very important at the time, to take the assume that change, saying I'm not staying here. I'll do what I want to do. I want to learn more. I don't care about stability of my contract. So I quit, and I stayed in the hospital who was training me. I continued there, but without a contract. So that was a tough decision. Uh, but it ended up very well. And I had the support of the department, especially Dr. Vasco. So I felt I was being supported, and I ended up learning there. I went abroad to learn CT and CMR, and I ended up having a contract with the hospital. And after a while, some years later, um, another block I was facing was that I couldn't increase a lot in the hospital the numbers of specialist EMRs, because CTs I was doing a lot, but we were sending lots of exams to the private practice, but we couldn't improve the numbers of the exams we were doing there. And that was one of the reasons I decided then, okay, if we are doing more of these exams in the private practice, I will go there. And I will continue also to be a clinical cardiologist while I was doing what I would like to do.
Let's shift gears now. And lately, there has been a lot more focus on gender equality and diversity in healthcare. Do you think we still have major gaps to close in medicine and in Portugal?
Ricardo, I should say I've never witnessed that. I don't, at least in my career in medicine, I never personally witnessed gender-based discrimination or anything. I always worked in teams where men and women were treated equally. I should say that I believe that probably there is still at least some parts of societies that may exist some bias towards the women doing, for instance, cardiac surgery or interventions. But that will change, I'm sure. Nowadays women are the majority of the doctors, and they are reaching all the previously known as men only specializations, and doing a lot, and I think they will rule. So I don't see that as a problem anymore, right? But as I told you, I never witnessed that, but I'm sure that it still exists somewhere.
What's your approach to keeping your knowledge and skills up to date?
Uh, I try, especially after leaving the public hospital, I always try to keep up, especially in those areas where I'm not expert. So I always try to go to congresses that are not related directly to imaging. For instance, when I go to the European Congress of Cardiology or the American Congress, congresses, I try to go to areas that are growing, but are not my specific area of interest. So I can learn and still know a lot what is happening in the cardiology world. I should always, I should say that it's not only cardiology. We should know a lot about other stuff in medicine and also what is happening around the world. So I think that reading other things that are not related to what you currently do, it's always beneficial, like reading history, philosophy, things like that helps. But of course, specifically in the topic of cardiology, I do that. I try to have people with me that know other things, and I like to ask when people are available, and people are usually very keen to help. That's what I feel in the between colleagues. And when you don't know, should not be afraid to ask. You always learn, and I think people are very keen to help.
Balancing a demanding medical career with life outside work is something many of us struggle with. What has worked for you when it comes to maintaining that balance?
To be honest, I'm not. I'm probably not a good person to answer that because I'm still struggling with that. But I think everyone who has a family and especially uh, a person like me that loves what we do. If people love what they do in their profession, it's difficult not to. At one time, we are just doing more and more and more and getting more involved with other stuff and joining with others, discussing medicine, discussing your cases, projecting projects for the future, research, everything. And that takes a lot of time. So if you don't balance, I mean, I'm a cardiologist, but that doesn't define me. I have other life, and it's impossible to try. It's very important to balance those areas, especially family. And for instance, when I left the public national health system, one of the reasons was because I thought I was increasing quality of time with my family. And that is true, it increased. I ended up having weekends in the hospital, having nights in the hospital, and increased a lot the quality of life I was having with my family and my friends. But after a while, we get involved again in lots of different projects. And if we don't stop to think what we are doing with our life, it is possible that somewhere we may be losing our family, our friends, and that's impossible not to do. So time to time, I have to reschedule again my life, try to reduce some things. It's something that I do periodically, I should say. I think every 2 years I change a little bit what I do because sometimes we're just working too much.
And leadership in medicine can take many forms. In your view, what's the one quality that truly sets apart a great leader in our field?
First of all, I feel because I had good leaders and not so good leaders. But one of the things I feel is that a leader should listen, should admit mistakes, and should first of all empower others. Because there are some leaders that just they are alone at the end because they don't have built a proper team. They are just them, and then all the others at the same level. And it is important to to be able to talk Otherwise, you stop. If you stop talking and listening, you stop learning. So it is important to keep people asking questions and contesting yourself and foster curiosity, continuous learning, and the pursuit of excellence as a team. I think it's important, especially to keep people motivated, because after a while, uh, time and routine just may broke your team. If you are always do the same, if you always do the same thing, it's difficult to keep people motivated. So one thing leaders should do is try to keep the team motivated, and that is usually uh, achieved giving and um, dividing responsibilities.
For younger cardiologists who are eager to grow and move forward in their careers, what would you say they should focus on or prioritize in an early phase of their career?
Well, first of all, ask questions, prepare yourself, of course, study, reach out to your mentors. They don't know everything, of course. Probably some things you know better than they do, but they have the experience. It's always nice to ask what you do, what you think about this, and even about decisions in life. It's always nice to have people who already experienced that uh, to take some advice on you. Um, Other thing, I think it's important. I didn't know that when I was being a cardiologist, uh, starting. Uh, we should do what we like to do. We are going to have an entire life doing something, and you are probably getting really good in one area, and that area you decide is something that should give you pleasure to do. Otherwise, life can become really miserable. So it's nice to wake up every morning and say, okay, I like what I do. I'm doing what I like, and even if it's not completely conventional, you can follow what you feel it's good for you. I think that's a good. It's always nice when you have to make decisions. Just okay, this is what I like to do. Probably it's not the most comfortable now. Probably it's a risk, but I like this, so I will follow this. And if you do what you like to do, you are happy, right? Even if uh, it's nothing, probably for one people, one kind of work is important, or for instance, being a leader in a department is important. For others, working with some small team is better, and people prefer. So just I really think that we should follow what we like to do. Sometimes in life changes and we don't even know what we are going to do in 5 or 6 years, and probably in 5 or 6 years we will like to do different things, and it's always nice to change if we can. So that's my advice. Just okay, listen to others, but follow what your heart say.
Cardiology is evolving at an incredible pace. If you had to look ahead, what developments or challenges do you think are going to reshape the field in the coming years?
In our area, Ricardo, I think imaging will be the center of, even more than now, the center of the diagnosis, but also for prevention and planning. So imaging, I'm sure it's a right path. We are in the right area now, Ricardo. And artificial intelligence will support workflows, um, but of course, I really believe that at least for the next decades, humans will be still essential. And because it is possible now, based on artificial intelligence, to have a more personalized medicine. But because it's possible to get lots of information directly related to that patient, but someone has to be a companion for the patient to help with all this information. Even the watches give information now about our health. A doctor it's a good companion, and I think that the involvement of the patient in the decisions has grown a lot since I was in medical school until now, and I think it will grow even more in the next years due to that, because information is all over there, but the decision what to do in individual patient should be taken by the patient and by his doctor.
And finally, is there a book that really changed your perspective or influenced you in a meaningful way?
I know you told me you were going to ask me that, so I brought not only one book but two. One of them, I think it's only in Portuguese, but I have it here. Being a Doctor, from Professor Carlos Ribeiro. Professor Carlos Ribeiro was president of the Portuguese Society of Cardiology. He was also the president of the National Medical Association. And this book is a compilation of letters to young doctors. And it's really interesting because probably people think that I'm mainly a technological guy, imaging guy, but I'm mainly a clinical cardiologist. And I really think that this book is very important to understand the what a doctor should be in this doctor-patient relationship. So that's one. The other one, it's Nexus. So it's very recent, is from Yuval Noah Harari, and talks a lot about artificial intelligence and how it will go shaping our future in a very near future. And he talks a lot of different stuff and the warnings about unsupervised artificial intelligence, what it can bring, but also some hope. And some of those are related specifically with the area of medicine. So I'll leave you with these two books.
Perfect. Nuno, thank you so much for sharing your insights and your story with us today. I know our listeners will take a lot away from this conversation. And to everyone tuning in, thank you for being with us on the Career Boost podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, share the episode, and keep pushing forward your own journey. Until next time, see you soon.